In the world of using photos during therapy or as a therapeutic technique to help people heal and change, I run a website. I have a book. I have a mailing list of like 5,000 people that I created over the last 30 years. It's not a mailing list I bought. All of the people on these lists are people who are interested in these techniques, whether for therapy or for personal healing or community change. When I decided to go to Italy, I ran down the mailing list. I did a sort for Italy, and a third of the list. Like, there's all these people in Italy. I think I've had maybe 4 inquiries from France in the last 30 years. I get an inquiry from Italy every week. Why? I don't know. I make a joke and I say there's something in the water. But to be honest, I think I understand a little bit. And I think that after the war in Italy, when they had put all the political prisoners in the mental hospitals, Italy has a tradition that I don't see in Canada and the United States, where people who have mental disorders or physical disorders still live in the community. They are allowed to have a life, they have a home, they have beds, and they have treatment as they need, but they're not stuck in mental hospitals to live as isolated, excluded people. So in Italy, I will come across people who have mental disabilities or physical handicaps as part of the communities. I don't see that as much in other countries. Secondly, Italy seems to have had, at least my world of therapy, a lot of the new ideas, the new technology in therapy language, where there's new ways of looking at therapy, the paradoxical therapy, the family system. There's a lot of new therapies that come out of Italy. And so between that and Italy being a country that is really very involved in filmmaking, I just think it's natural for people who are interested to help people change to use photos to do it. And what happened for me was discovering how complex that network is. And the funny part was a lot of those people did not know about each other. I did a panel discussion for a conference in Lucca 4 years ago, a European art therapy, and I invited everybody I knew who used video in therapy, because I also teach that. And there are people from, 2 valleys over, two communities over who've never met who are doing the same thing, and they meet during my panel. This is happening in Italy a lot, and I think the conference here, the Social Photo Festival, the exhibitions, but especially the conference that happens on the 21st, everyone gets to hear what everyone else is doing, and a lot of them are in Italy. So Italy's getting known. People are coming, people are coming from all over to this event because it's the forefront of the work. Italy is pioneering a lot of this work. For people who are going to come to the photo festival, the exhibitions, the conference, the short workshops, I think the biggest thing I hope they take home from this is better understanding of why they take pictures and keep pictures, and why people use pictures to help people change. We often don't stop to think about, why do you take pictures? Why do you keep them? They used to be just pieces of paper, and now they're pixels on a screen. But, we take lots of them, but what if we lose an important one? Something big is missing. So I think the goal of my work as a psychologist using these during therapy is the same as the rest of the applications at the festival, is not only to look at the photographs as a finished product, but to realize that every photograph has a story to tell and has feelings embedded in it. And that if you just ask it the right kind of questions, you learn not only about the photographer and the subject, you learn a lot about yourself. If you start thinking about, well, why am I interested in that picture? And what would I like to change? And, here's 2 pictures of a woman, 50 years apart in her life, and she's doing the same pose and she doesn't even realize it. Why do you take pictures? Why do they have such an important part of your life? And that's the thing that I hope the visitors will go home thinking more about, because it tells them more about themselves. I heard that the Perugia Photo Festival was having exhibitions, and they were going to do a competition because there was a theme of, it's called resisto in Italian. The English is not resistance, the English is resilience, which means you survive despite everything bad that's happened to you, okay? And I thought, well, I may be the keynote speaker, but I also have photos, and I'm going to enter the competition. And so I entered with 2 photos to talk about resilience. And I sent these 2 photos, okay? This photo, I was 4 years old, and I stood like that. You've seen me. I can't do it with the microphones without, but that's just, I like that photo. It's the first photo on my website's biography page. Why? You have to say that now for Perugia Photo Festival. You're supposed to ask why. Why is that photo so strong? Well, for me, it shows who I was going to be, regardless of who my mother wanted me to be. I was going to be a cowboy, not a cowgirl. I was going to be a cowboy. And I was going to ride my horses and shoot the bad guys, and I was 4 years old, and I could do anything. And when I look at this photo, I remember the color of the hat, I remember the smell of the straw. This moment, you think you're 4 years old, you don't remember. But this moment has stayed with me forever. Now, I'm now old. When I turned 60, my husband and I went on a cruise, I live on the ocean side, so we went in a boat up to a waterfall. We had a picnic, and I love boats, and I love the water, and I'm standing in the front of our friend's boat, and I'm just like, this is a good day. And my husband took the photo, and I looked at the photo, and I thought, wow, this is really, I don't know, this feels really special. And I looked at it a lot, and I thought, well, all right, you're the phototherapy person. So I thought, well, what if I cover the arm, or I move? What has to change? And it was those arms. And I couldn't figure it out until I went back to work on Monday, and I looked at my website, and I saw the cowboy. Look at those arms. Look at the head. Look at the tilt. Look at the hat. You want resilience? You've got it. And I didn't know that he hung the pictures on the wall here. My God. So, 60 years later, I still internalize this pose. I still feel the same. And this is what worries me about all of you younger people who have a delete button on your cameras. Because if I had not kept this photo for 60 years, this one would never tell me why I'm so pulled, why I'm so drawn to it. So it's the history of my field as well, because if you don't have old photos, this kind of thing isn't going to happen.